Welcome back to our series, where we explore an extraordinary possibility. What if the true land of the Israelites is right here in Kenya? In today's episode, we will provide historical and geographical insights, challenging conventional understandings and offering reinterpretations based on linguistic and cultural connections between Africa and the Bible. To set the stage, we need to consider one essential fact. Many biblical stories and terms were translated from languages deeply rooted in African cultures. As we decode these connections, we'll explore places in Kenya with striking similarities to biblical sites. The last camp, Nomorotunga, as Beth Jeshimoth. Let's begin at Nomorotunga, also identified in the Bible as Beth Jeshimoth. Before entering Canaan, the Israelites' last camp was in this very region. It's fascinating that the Swahili word jeshi, meaning army or hosts, reflects the Hebrew term for the same concept, making it a compelling link to Beth Jeshimoth, house of the army. Notably, this region later became associated with the Reubenite tribe, whose Kenyan descendants are believed to be the Sabaoth people. In Hebrew, Sabaoth translates to Lord of Hosts, a profound title that aligns with the historical and spiritual character of this area. Crossing the Jordan, Malaba as Madaba and Lake Victoria as Galilee. Crossing into Canaan, we arrive at the area around modern-day Malaba, which aligns with the biblical Madaba, the border region of Moab and Canaan. The Israelites' first steps into Canaan, though, bring us to an even grander revelation. This enormous lake, once known as Nyasa or Nyanza, likely served as the ancient Sea of Galilee. In biblical terms, any large body of water was called a sea, and Lake Victoria, the second largest lake in the world, surely fits this description. What's more, the ancient Bantu phrase, Ga Loli, means words of truth, connects to Jesus' messages, the word of truth at the Sea of Galilee. Lake Victoria, like the biblical Sea of Galilee, can turn turbulent with high winds and rough waves. This parallel hints at the powerful stories associated with this lake, especially given that Jesus, referred to as the Nazarene or king from Nyanza, may be linked linguistically through Reth or Ruoth, the Bantu word for king. Jericho and Gilgal, the sites of Jericho and Gilgal. Moving on to Kericho and Gilgal, identified as Jericho and Gilgal, we encounter well-preserved sites of ancient significance. In Kericho, as in the biblical Jericho, disobedience led to severe consequences. Achan was executed here, and so were many Kenyan warriors during the colonial era. This parallel underscores a harsh history of punishment in both the biblical and modern eras. The artifacts from Fort Ternan and Kariandusi hold archaeological significance, yet sadly, much of this heritage was taken abroad, limiting our understanding of these historical sites' true roles. Bethel and I, Nakuru, Hyrax Hill, and the Aberdares. When Abraham journeyed to Canaan, he settled near Bethel and Ai. This sacred region is known today as Nakuru and Hyrax Hill, with Abraham's camp set on the Aberdares Range, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and intriguingly, our probable Jerusalem. In ancient terms, Bethel combined the Kalenjin words Bet and Lel, meaning an oath with God and hearing from God. Here, Jacob encountered God, swearing to return and make a sacrifice if he survived his journey. To this day, prophets here are called Orkoyot, honoring God as the rock of salvation. It was on these very hills in 1899 that Theodor Herzl, the Zionist founder, sought a meeting with these revered seers, perhaps for guidance in founding Israel. Mount Elbon as Mount Ebal and Gerizim. Finally, let's look at Mount Elbon, identified as Mount Ebal, the mountain upon which Joshua proclaimed a curse. Its counterpart, Gerizim, known today as Nakuru, was blessed. The tragic history of the area, marred by conflict, aligns with Joshua's curse, whereas Nakuru, Gerizim's counterpart, remains a vibrant hub of peace and prosperity. A British national who built a castle on Mount Ebal ended his life alone and destitute, lending eerie credibility to Joshua's ancient curse on this mountain. From the last Israelite camp at Nomorotunga to the sacred sites of Bethel and Ai, we are only scratching the surface of the biblical connections with Kenya. These parallels invite us to consider a new interpretation of our heritage, grounded in both history and faith. The evidence is compelling, but it's only the beginning of our journey to uncover the African origins of Canaan. In the next episode, we'll dive deeper into these sites, examining the unique significance they hold for Kenyans today and their untold place in biblical history. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share if you believe in revealing hidden truths.